Sara Lieber describes herself as the inventor of Senior Sidekicks. This is a very unique concept, Sara. Thanks for joining us here in the Business Spotlight. Let's talk about the origins of Senior Sidekicks. How did you decide to start this business and with what goal in mind?
I decided to start it because I'd already worked with seniors in 4 other settings, and in all of those settings, I had usually come in after the disaster had happened. And I felt that although we could do things, we were not preventing things. And I kept asking myself the question, isn't there an earlier place to intervene so that both seniors and their families suffer less?
And so how do you try to achieve that objective through Senior Sidekicks?
Well, the first service that we developed was based on an article published in the 2008 Archives of the Internal Medicine, and it was called Hidden in Plain Sight, and it was the first actual study of a medical visit companion role, and all it was the study. And I looked at that and said, I have run into that the senior, when encountering the medical service delivery system, tended to be more confused than helped. And it was important to develop some role of doing that. And so the first service we offered was medical visit companion.
And to explain a little bit more in detail here, and I've gone through this myself in my own life about when you're going to the doctor, there's a lot to keep track of, a lot of things you want to remember to ask the doctor about. There's a lot of often medications that may interact with each other. You've got to keep track of all of these things. That can be a daunting challenge for someone who's there in day-to-day contact with their loved one. How does an outsider come in and know all the right things to do and be able to make sure that all the important information is being communicated back and forth?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but over the years I have found that people don't always know the interactions in the first place. They know there are, but they don't know which ones. Many people don't ask, what are the top 3 side effects of a medication? And I was able, in one case, the patient had been seen for extremely dry eye, so dry they couldn't even test for it. Patient had to have treatment for 2 weeks and go back and then try and test for the dry eye. Next day we're in with the attending physician, and the physician wants to prescribe a medication. I ask the standard question, what are the 3 side effects? And the physician mentions dry eye, and I said, you're probably not aware of this, but this person is being treated for a very, very dry eye at the moment. Is there another medication that might work for that?
You can see, obviously, the value here of having someone who can be that advocate for the patient.
Right.
And it's just one of the services that Senior Sidekicks provides. When we come back in just a moment, we'll talk more about some of the other services being provided by Senior Sidekicks. They are the